Baby, it's cold outside. That's what they're saying through most of the country in the early part of the baseball season, Keefus. Welcome to a shitload of sports. Once again, I cannot get used to the attire that some of these ball players are wearing on the field. And you brought up a great point earlier today to me about the 09 World Series, I think it was.
Yeah.
So let's get into what's going on today, and then we can compare it to 09.
Well, apparently the newest fashion in baseball is the balaclava, which is a full hood covering your face up to your nose and only leaving your eyes open. It is probably the coldest it's ever been to start a baseball season, at least
It started in March 29th.
Yeah.
What the fuck did they expect?
At least on record. And they didn't, I mean, they started, the New York team started somewhat, in a dome and for a while moved down south. But these games that are north of the Mason-Dixon line are getting some rainouts, a few snowouts.
Ice all over Detroit.
And are getting 30, 40 degree, weather to play in. And that's the good weather. In Chicago and Minnesota built a fucking stadium without a dome or a retractable dome. They had a 20-degree game. Imagine using a wood bat and hitting a 95-mile-per-hour fastball in 20-degree weather. Sometimes it sucks in 50-degree weather. 20-degree weather, that fucking sucks.
Oh.
So, yeah. I'm surprised there hasn't been more no-hitters.
Yeah,
honestly, in the beginning of the season, because who the fuck wants to swing a bat now?
Maybe they can't get a good grip. The pitchers are like...
In 2009, in the World Series between the Yankees and the Phillies and the Yankees both had specially fashioned hats from New Era where the flaps pulled down. Like they were Elmer Fudd going duck hunting.
That were fucking ridiculous looking.
That was brutal looking.
Oh,
because that World Series went pretty deep into November. Like November 3rd or 4th was like games 5 or 6. I think it went 6 games.
Yeah.
So that was another one that was ridiculous. So they got to figure something out. The solution that I could see right away is play more doubleheaders. Each team has got to play at least 6 doubleheaders a season.
Or start in the warmer weather areas or the domed areas.
Yeah, or
don't start the game at Citi Field.
The first 2 weeks have to be south of the Mason-Dixon line or in a dome.
Yeah.
The Yankees started in Toronto. They played 3 games. No problem. No issues.
Yeah.
Are you going to make every team now that builds a new stadium have a dome on it? That would kind of be tacky.
I hate domes.
Retractable domes are unfortunately a necessary evil when you're playing in certain places.
Yeah.
Right now I'm sure Franklin or Mizuno or one of these companies is designing or in the process of designing winter batting gloves, like thicker padded batting gloves, but then they get loose on your hands. Having to wear foot warmers in your cleats in the outfield or in the infield because you're not moving around as much because you're going, from pitcher to pitcher, it's got to suck.
Yeah. The other night, Mickey Callaway, every fucking... Yeah. I was like, come on, Tony La Russa, stop.
Yeah. It's bad when fans are dressing like they're at Green Bay.
The Ice Bowl.
They're dressing like they're at a Green Bay Packer game in December
1967.
for a baseball game.
Yeah.
And as you know, in this area, both stadiums, Citi Field and Yankee Stadium, are built a 2-iron away from water. The Harlem River and Flushing Bay.
Yeah.
The wind comes off that water
Fuck.
like knives.
Yeah, it's tough.
Especially Flushing Bay. Shea Stadium was worse because it was open. At least Citi Field is closed in somewhat, so you don't get the wind as bad. But Yankee Stadium gets a wind swoop that goes through because the wind goes over the top. So if you're in those right field bleachers or anywhere in right field, it's like fucking knives on your skin. It's terrible.
Yeah.
So I can imagine what goes on in Boston because it's got to be cold as shit up there.
The winter is brutal.
Chicago.
Wow.
Wrigley and U.S. Cellular Field.
Kaminsky,
yeah.
I hate those fucking corporate names.
Eddie Seacott's pitching. And then again in Minnesota at Target Field, another corporate name.
Yes. Bloomington Stadium.
Memorial Stadium. Even Baltimore and Philly are on, fairly close to the water.
Oh, they get cold games. They're
Day
night
game-
games. But they won't play fucking day games because the nighttime spends more money for commercials. The
That's
8 o'clock,
right.
7 o'clock starts.
That's another thing Major League Baseball has to do. If
More
you-
day games.
More day games.
But doubleheaders they hate because it's one gate.
Well, you don't have to necessarily do one
You're
gate.
gonna have a split gate.
Yeah, you could do a
I see,
day-night
that's-
game.
Oh, I hate that too.
Listen, these
I
people,
like a conventional Sunday doubleheader banner day,
All right,
walking
so-
on Shea Stadium outfield
so-
grass with your fucking bed sheet.
what that says
Mazzillies and Mazes of Spaz.
blackberry, thornberry, we love strawberry.
Marvelous
Marv
Marvin
Thornberry.
Thornberry. Oh, Mets pick
Or-
a strawberry. I remember
yeah.
the Daily News headline when they picked him.
Clueless Joe. So
Oh,
if you
yeah.
want to do a
Another
single
one.
gate, that's fine too. So Major League Baseball doesn't make $100 trillion this year. They make
And the
99
team doesn't
trillion.
either because they don't have the second tickets that are being sold.
But again,
but people are buying fucking beers and hot dogs through 18 innings still.
and expensive beers and hot dogs
Fuck
at that.
yeah.
You want to get an IPA at a stadium. They're giving you a 24-ounce can, which is great, but it's also $14.
Oh my god.
You
That's
know?
why I don't drink at stadiums.
Yeah, it's just too much. And the
know.
hot dog is $6-7.
I eat though, yeah.
Yeah.
I like the premium sausage at City Field. That's nice.
The frozen hot dogs, what you have in your fridge, there, those are.
Oh yeah.
I've smelled those.
Yankee Franks are good. Not Dodger dogs are good when I went to Dodger Stadium, but they do not beat a foot long Yankee Frank. I will be the first to say that. I must be honest. Mets
Remember
don't
that,
have-
girls? Nothing beats the foot-long Yankee.
Yes, Mets don't have a famous hot dog, so it doesn't matter. But that's just the truth. You know who had a great bratwurst? Fucking Soldier Field Bears.
I thought you were going to say Double X Jimmy Fox,
Oh no.
the German guy.
We're going to be speaking about him in another episode coming up about this shitload of sports.
So I just think it's getting, something's obviously got to, what are we going to do about the weather? It is what it is.
you
You know,
want
it's
me
been
to
a
tell
very
you
cold.
what they should do?
What should
Go
they
back
do?
to 154 game schedule, as too long as it is.
Well, that only trims off, 8 games?
But start the season a little later, put more double headers in, and do more day games earlier in the season in these cold weather areas, or have more West Coast games, Arizona, things like that, or the domes.
I think the World Series should have a mandatory one-day game either on a Saturday or Sunday.
That's the way it used to be, bro.
Yeah.
Even when I was a kid, World Series were fucking day games.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
World
come on.
Series, mandatory one-day game.
Yeah.
Wherever it falls on the weekend.
You read stories where the teachers used to let the little kids listen to the Brooklyn Dodgers, Yankees.
On their
in
transistor
the
radios?
Transistor radio. The kid would try to hide it with the thing, and the teacher would be nice and let them play it.
Now
and
the
they would
kids just
follow
have
the
their
game.
laptops up and they're on MLB.com and they're watching it in class anyway.
Or Pornhub.com.
Yeah, that one too.
So. So that is our solution with this cold weather. The Burka looking thing looks ridiculous, but I guess I can't kill a guy for fucking wearing it. It's cold as a motherfucker out there.
And I'm
for
sure
these
there's one
players.
with a Yankee symbol right up here that they're selling at
yeah.
Yankee Stadium right now.
Yeah, and a lot of these guys are from the Caribbean and stuff, Latin America, and they're used to hot weather, so I guess it is tough. I mean, we're New York, lifelong New Yorkers, and cold fucking annoys the shit out of us.
Right.
Imagine if you grew up when it's fucking 80 all year long.
And don't tell me that doesn't cause the injury. You go from 70-degree, 80-degree Florida to now you got to play in New York.
Yeah.
And you got to play in 30-degree weather. It's going to cause a problem. You can't loosen up. You get tightened up. That's why you see all these muscle strains early.
Can't stretch it
Broken
out
legs
long
and torn ligaments. That's one thing. That's not going to. But you
Well, pulled muscles and things
pulled
like
muscles and
that. Yeah, pitchers' arms getting tired early because they can't stretch out because it's cold. They can't loosen up. They can't feel the ball right. So the mechanics are off a little bit. So
There's a reason why Rocky in Rocky IV he trained in the woods like that up in Russia, because he knew he was going to fight in a hot arena. So he said I'd rather
Torture myself.
myself now and then go in there.
the fight's going to be on December 25th. In Russia. What? Paulie gets all pissed at him. I'm the silent
can't
majority. You can't win, Rock. But
There's no easy way out.
no, there is no easy way out. Another
There's
hit
no
by
shortcut
Survivor.
home.
Throwing the motorcycle helmet at the statue. But that's going to do for us today on the Shitload of Sports. Joe Pietaro for the man Keefus, and we will see you on the next episode.